Hello everybody, welcome to Handstands with Natalie. I'm Natalie and I teach the art of handbalancing. And today I'm going to explain how you can breathe in a handstand even though you're trying very hard to stay up there. Because breathing in a handstand can be quite a challenge when you are working hard, but it's definitely possible. So you may find as you're practicing handstands that you keep holding your breath. And that, of course, is hugely counterproductive because your muscles need oxygen in order to execute the exercises and the movements, and it's very strenuous. So you really need to find a way to start breathing. So what happens in the handstand is, of course, we can't take a full big breath as we would normally do when we're standing or sitting. And you have to keep your core engagement going as well. So what happens is that the breath becomes very shallow and only happens in the top part of your chest. So it's like if you try it once standing up, right? So you have your core engagement, you keep pulling the navel in towards the spine, you have your hips tucked and the ribs are flat, right? And even though you're very constricted here in your core, you can still keep a shallow breath going here in your chest. So just try this once. Have a very good core engagement and breathe in through the nose and not through the mouth. So in a handstand, usually you keep breathing through the nose and just see how that feels and focus on keeping the breath regular. And I can still speak even though I have a really good core engagement going on now. And let's combine this with a push in the shoulder. First, let's just try that standing up. So you have your core engagement, navel pulled in towards the spine. Push the shoulders into the ground and keep a shallow breath going in the chest. So it's still kind of a thing where then after I've done the handstand, I like to take a deep breath, or I like to take a deep breath before I start doing the exercise. But this shallow breathing keeps you going throughout the handstand exercise if you're doing endurance work. So let's try this once in a plank position. Get into your plank position, pull the navel in towards the spine, tuck the hips, and really push into the ground and focus on creating a shallow breath in the upper part of your chest. Okay, very good. So you will notice that your breath will have a faster rhythm to supply you with enough oxygen, and that's exactly what it should be like. In the handstand, what you can do if you find that you are notoriously always holding your breath is you can count out loud. That's a very good way to make sure that the airflow is encouraged to go in and out of your lungs, right? Because when you speak, you do have to take a breath and you take it automatically. So just try this. You do a handstand and you count out loud, just as I do it here on all of these videos, right? So if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? If you count out loud, every time you say the next count, there will be, you will have an intake of air before you say the next word. So in that handstand as well, try and keep the breath shallow. And every time you then change position, let's say you do a straddle handstand, there's always an in-breath when you get into the next shape, and then you steady the breath at a similar rhythm. When I'm about to do a strength-based move, for example, a lift, I do a deep in, I breathe in deeply, and then I execute the move. And then once I'm in the balance position, I go back to the shallow breathing at a steady rhythm, right? So let's say I do a lift. Before I do the lift, I take a deep in-breath. I hold my breath as I press into the ground to get the most out of my strength. And then when I'm here, I breathe out. And then I go back to a regular, steady, shallow breathing in the upper part of my chest. So yeah, those really are your options of breathing in a handstand. Before you are about to do something very difficult or something that requires a lot of strength, deep in breath, press execute the move, hold your breath, and then let it out and come back to the steady rhythm of shallow breathing with your chest just slightly lifting and falling to create a minimum amount of movement. So you don't want to create too much movement in the chest. You want to keep the movement and the breath minimal, but it has to be present in order for you to be able to actually exercise and do endurance exercises.